Follow WKYT online at WKYT.com. Join the conversation on Twitter and become a part of the WKYT Facebook family.
Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell officially becomes the majority leader in Washington.
And an already crowded race for governor could add another candidate. Bill Bryant tells us who may throw their hat in the race in the bottom line.
Good evening. Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell is now on duty as the new U.S. Senate Majority Leader. McConnell took the reins this morning from Democrat Harry Reid after Republicans won the majority in the November elections. McConnell has signaled that he wants to get along with President Obama, but also indicates he'll be pushing some changes, including an attempt to roll back the President's Health Care Act. He says he will move early on to win approval of the Keystone XL pipeline, which the Obama administration has opposed. McConnell is the first majority leader from Kentucky since Alvin Barkley held that post in the 1940s. Governor Steve Beshear delivers his final State of the Commonwealth address to a joint session of the state legislature tomorrow night. Lawmakers gavelled in at noon today to organize the session. They'll be there until Friday and then return February 3rd to enact legislation. Lexington banker Luther Deaton, who heads up Central Bank and Trust, says he has financial backers for a campaign for governor and a willing running mate if he decides to go forward. Running mate speculation is centered on State Representative John Tilley of Hopkinsville. Neither is commenting. Deaton tells CN2 that tax reform is one of his major concerns. Deaton suggests he'll make a decision about whether to seek the Democratic nomination close to the January 27th filing deadline. In recent weeks, several Kentucky counties have either passed or are considering local right-to-work ordinances that allow non-union workers to get jobs in unionized plants. The Conservative Bluegrass Institute says Warren, Simpson, and Fulton counties now have local right-to-work ordinances. Hardin and Cumberland counties discussing it. Bill Bryant, WKYT.
Former Kentucky Supreme Court Justice Will T. Scott will run for governor. The Republican sent out a tweet this afternoon confirming his candidacy. He said he will announce his ticket next week. The 67-year-old will face Agriculture Commissioner James Comer and Louisville businessman Hal Heiner in the May primary. An effort to take cancer prevention on the road in Kentucky needs some money.
Kentucky's First Lady Jane Beshear announcing a fund drive for a new mobile cancer screening van at the state capitol this morning. The Horses and Hope campaign aims to raise $1 million to provide free or reduced cancer screenings. Mrs. Beshear says that Churchill Downs has committed $90,000 and Croker chipped in another $25,000 for the initiative.
It's going to travel the state to provide breast, colon, prostate, head and neck, skin, lung, and cervical cancer screenings for at-risk and underserved populations throughout the state.
The van will offer education and screenings for numerous types of cancer.
It is a brutal Arctic air mass on the way to central and eastern Kentucky. Temperatures going below zero in some cases. The full details are straight ahead.
The city of Lexington is opening up 24-hour emergency shelters to prepare for tomorrow's cold snap. Here, volunteers at the Hope Center are doing to prepare.
And a woman accused of killing her step-granddaughter in June faces a judge for the first time. You'll hear the details from court coming up.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 5:30.
Good evening. It is a cold winter day out there in the bluegrass, but a blast of Arctic air is about to make those temperatures drop a lot lower.
Yeah, and on top of that, the wind chill will feel below zero. We begin with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey, who is tracking the frigid temperatures for us. Chris?
You know, keep getting asked, guys, why all of a sudden now are we seeing this pattern go from what we had in December to just absolutely brutal cold? Well, the answer is in the jet stream. It is taking a big dip all the way to the Gulf of Mexico over the next few days. You know what that's doing? It is opening up the floodgates, not only from Canada, but all the way from the Arctic Circle. Kids, North Pole, we're getting in on some of the Santa Claus air around here over the next few days, and it is going to come with a big price in terms of wind chill. Now, current temperatures range from 30 Lexington, 7 into Chicago, 5 Minneapolis. We go below zero. It's this air that gets in here through the day tomorrow, and it is quickly coming on down the pike with a little bit of a snowmaker into sections of Iowa. Light snow showers, snow squalls, but you you follow the cloud cover that is basically aimed right at the bluegrass states, so timing those will be very critical. A lot of those will show up just in time for the trip into work and school tomorrow morning. Live First Alert Defender, not a whole lot that is out there, but that 24-hour planner really tells the story. 20s this evening, snow squalls for the trip into work and school tomorrow morning. Low teens through noon, then guys, tomorrow afternoon into the evening, we're into the single digits, but look at the feels like number, the wind chill. -5 to -15. We'll put a track on that wind chill with the hour-by-hour forecast when I come back in a little over 10 minutes.
All right, Chris, thank you. When temperatures drop this low, many people stay inside, but for some, they don't have a place to go.
Now, one center here in Lexington is reaching out to people living on the streets and giving them a warm place to stay. Jordan Valines talked with staff at the Hope Center about how they're helping people prepare for this cold weather. It's our top story at 5:30.
The city's homeless population is sometimes overlooked, even ignored, but that's not the case here at the Hope Center.
It means so much to everyone here to be able to help.
We're helping those without a home.
Anybody could be in that situation.
Is their main priority.
We would want someone to be there to help us, so we are very happy to help those who may have nowhere to go.
Since tomorrow's temperatures are expected to drop into the single digits, employees say the best way they can help those living on the streets is by providing them a safe, warm place to stay.
We have the extra beds, the extra mattresses and blankets needed to help those who might want to come tonight.
The Hope Center is one of the 24-hour emergency shelters included in the city's emergency weather plan. They'll even provide transportation to those in need.
We have staff members who will go out in the evening hours and go to all of the spots around Lexington where homeless tend to gather or stay or sleep, and they will encourage them to come in for shelter and for food and for warmth.
Employees say the center can accommodate 50 additional men, and they hope that all of those spots will be filled by this time tomorrow. In Lexington, Jordan Valines, WKYT.
Tonight, employees at the Hope Center will begin their cold patrol by heading out to places where homeless tend to gather, as Jordan mentioned, and encouraging them to come to the center for shelter. Now, a new shelter is open in Winchester for anyone who needs a place to escape the cold temperatures during the next several days there. Volunteers transformed a former daycare on Talbot Avenue into the Beacon of Hope Emergency Center. The center will be opening their doors 24 hours a day to anyone who can provide a photo ID.
Instead of them sleeping outside, we give them a warm bed and a hot meal. Everybody that comes in will receive a bag. It's got a washcloth, a towel, toothbrush.
We're told that when the city opened a temporary shelter last winter, they had between 30 and 60 people a night, and some of those people came as far away as Powell and Magoffin counties.
As the temperatures drop, business for heating companies is picking up. The Lexington Heating and Air Company estimates their call volume triples during cold weather days. One repairman tells us if you think your heat is not working, first check your filter.
If your filter is dirty or stopped up, you get way less performance out of the unit. And then there are safeties that actually shut some things down that won't let it work like it's supposed to.
For alternative heating sources, make sure all stoves and fireplaces are adequately vented. Do not use charcoal indoors, and do not use gasoline or diesel generators indoors or outside near an open window or vent that could bring in fumes. And remember, you can follow the cold weather information. Just go to our website, WKYT.com. We have your latest forecast and details about warming centers and cold weather tips.
A woman accused of killing her step-granddaughter over the summer months finally answers to the charges. Shiloh Rayleigh is charged with murder in Boyle County. Rayleigh's step-granddaughter Alexa died in June from blunt force trauma to her abdomen. Victor Puente was in court as Rayleigh made her first court appearance this morning.
Quite a few members of Shiloh Rayleigh's family were here this morning for her arraignment. We didn't learn any new information about the charges against her, but a bond was finally set in this murder case. Rayleigh is charged with murdering her 3-year-old step-granddaughter, Alexa Rayleigh, back in June. Kentucky State Police say the toddler died from blunt force trauma to her abdomen. She was taken to a local hospital, then flown to UK hospital where she died. Rayleigh was arrested in December, charged with murder. Alexa's father, Alex Rayleigh, lives here in Boyle County. Her mother, Jessica Young, lives in Lexington. The two had a split custody agreement where they each got 5 days with the child. Alexa was here in Boyle County when she was taken to the hospital. At the arraignment this morning, Shiloh Raley's attorney entered a not guilty plea for her. She also asked the judge to set a bond. Up until now, one hadn't been set because the Commonwealth's attorney was still deciding if they would seek the death penalty. This morning they said that seemed unlikely and a 7-figure bond was set.
At this point, we're not. Right, then the bond will be set at the $1 million cash bond as normally set for any murder case at this time.
None of Shiloh Raley's relatives wanted to talk about the case. At the time of Alexa's death, Danville police told us they had an ongoing investigation concerning the child. They wouldn't give us any details about that case. In Boyle County, Victor Puente, WKYT.
Now, Raley will be back in court on February 3rd.
A mother killed while on a walk with her daughter. Our county-by-county coverage at 5:30 begins in Grayson County. It happened last night on Annetta Road south of Litchfield. State police say 47-year-old Jackie Vincent Hayes was walking with her daughter when she was hit by a car. Hayes died at the scene. Her daughter was not hurt. Police are still looking for the driver involved in that accident. In Powell County, police are investigating a deadly crash. State police tell us that at least 2 people were in that crash on Hardwick Creek Road, which is between Clay City and Stanton. We're told 1 person was killed and another person was injured. Neighbors tell us car accidents are a common problem on this stretch of road.
Yeah, once a year there seems to be a wreck back there, and this is the first time that anybody's ever died, but I get nervous living here because there's so many wrecks.
State police are not sure what caused that accident. And in Madison County, police arrest a man accused of kidnapping and robbing another man that he met to buy a video gaming system. Deputies say last month Joseph Crowdus met the victim at his home and lured him into his car and started to drive away. When the victim tried to get out, deputies say Crowdus pulled out a gun and assaulted him. Officers say Crowdus stole the gaming system and cash, and the victim jumped out of the car. Deputies arrested Crowdus last night. The victim was not injured.
As we have reported the last couple of weeks, the number of flu cases is surging in Kentucky. This afternoon, we asked the Fayette County Health Department several good questions about flu shots. Are flu shots still available at the Fayette County Health Department? How much does it cost a person? And do they need to make an appointment? When are the shots available? And do you still recommend people get a flu shot? Kevin Hall with the Health Department says, yes, flu shots are available at the department. They're $30 a person. Medicaid, Medicare, cash, checks, credit cards, and some insurance are accepted. They're available 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., but just on 2 days, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 650 Newtown Pike. No appointment is necessary. Hall says they definitely suggest anyone who has not had a flu shot still get one this flu season. That's because the peak flu season in this state does not hit until later this month or early next month. We're already at 50 confirmed cases this season. That's compared to just 8 confirmed cases this time last year, and that's in Fayette County. So far, the Fayette County Health Department has given 2,221 flu shots this season. If you have a good question, go to WKYT.com.
A National Guard soldier injured in a hit-and-run crash is now out of UK hospital. The hospital tells us that Noel Espino was released earlier today. Espino's family says he will continue his recovery at a VA hospital in California. He's been in the hospital for 16 weeks after police say an off-duty Lexington firefighter crashed into him outside the beer trap.